in that so well.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
all right, yeah, it's just it's in there so well that I wasn't even seeing that was the issue. All
Thanks
right.
for jumping on. This is awesome. So the purpose of this obviously is what we're trying to do is collect information about SmileWizard. We're kind of looking for testimonial type stuff and perhaps some things that we can like post to um, social media, that kind of thing. So really appreciate this. Um, I think because you're a lab guy, I think it'll be a little bit different. So we want to because other guys like Raj has been on here and we videoed him and we got a ton from him, but I think it might be just best to kind of interview you and let you answer certain questions kind of from your perspective.
Okay.
Um, and then maybe when we're done recording, we can talk about I know you and I had always talked about perhaps giving you some kind of a code, letting you give that out. And then maybe as you sell, or approach people about it, um, you know, maybe just talk through it and maybe you make some money off of each sale or something like that. I think it would be you're not slowing down, are you? Because I haven't seen you in a couple of the classes. And I think it's just because it's been other people.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I sent yeah, because every once in a while with Academy there's multiple courses the same week, and whenever that happens, I've got to send Cabral or somebody else from the lab.
Okay.
So that's probably
Okay.
why, yeah, because yeah, I'm at most of them.
Okay. Are there some that like in New Jersey? Do you go to New
Yes,
Jersey?
but the last one that was in New Jersey, we also had
Yeah.
one in Charlotte.
Got it.
And so depending on which course it is, there's definitely ones that I do a lot more, especially on like the exam and records one. They definitely always want me to be at that one than to send somebody else, just so that way we're teaching the doctors how to do the Facebook correctly and mount them right.
Right. Okay. All right, Greg, do you have any recommendations on where we start?
No, just like a little intro as to why the hell I'm here for a second.
Yeah, really. What's up, Greg?
Yeah, man. Um, Good to see you. So
Yeah, you too.
Travis just kind of reached out. I'm not really operating in the dental space, right? For the last year, I kind of re-engaged with a company that I started before I went to work for Dawson. They just happened to be looking for a guy with my talents and knew me from way back when. But they grew up into like a big company, and they do a fitness app. It's called Coach Me Plus, and they have their hands in the military. So I basically was just have been freelancing for them, waiting for all their contracts to come rolling in. And
Okay.
yeah, so the sky's been falling, fortunately. So honoring my obligations to like Travis, he reached out and just said, hey, he's obviously is very passionate, probably the other person other than me, and a couple others are passionate because we knew Pete and we believe in what he did, right?
Exactly.
So, once you're in church, you're kind of always in there, right? So he reached out and said, hey, could you help me? Because he really doesn't know how to talk to all of his subject matter experts. So I'm kind of here to kind of consult him and ask some questions and kind of guide him with how to talk to y'all, right? Like, because
Okay.
he obviously has. I mean, he was one of the first guys I met when I came to Dawson, right? When it was the Dawson Wizard. So
Right, right.
the diagnostic wizard. So I mean, me and Travis go back a long way. So this is almost like a family reunion kind of thing. Other than that,
Okay.
I gotta get back to my top secret work. Um, but anyhow, so that's kind of why I'm here. Just busting in, recording it, and then helping like translate it on the end for the social media people.
Mm-hmm.
Learn
Yep.
them up because they're a dime a dozen, but it doesn't always count for brain power or knowledge base, right? So they just need to be steered the right direction. So that's basically what it is. I let Travis ask a lot of the questions, and then I'm like the color man, right? So just back out and be quiet and let you do the talking.
So, um, I believe I'm going to hit spotlight for everyone for you, Chris. And then I believe that as this is a recording, it will not record Greg or myself. And
Okay.
so,
I'm going to mute
not
myself
100%.
anyway while you're talking. Over.
Okay. So if you wanted to just do a quick intro, and maybe just talk about, this is who I am, this is who I work for. My job is to, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Talk about what you do. That should be pretty simple. And
Yep.
then maybe just go into like your history with SmileWizard, like
Okay.
when it was introduced to you, and what you thought about it. Maybe you had hesitations about it, or something like that. And then maybe just kind of give a kind of a promo, or a testimonial.
Okay.
This is what I like about it, that kind of thing. Um, so I will be quiet and kind of let you talk.
Oh, wait
Okay.
a second. Well, little pointer, because that's a lot of information, but I would just stick to like the who, what, where, when, how, right? So it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like a stream of thought. So if you want, I can ask you the questions and then you can just answer. If that makes it easier for you, how do you want to do? Do you want to roll from the hip or do you want us to just
I
kind of?
can, well, I can start, and then if you want to ask questions, if there's something that comes up that I don't cover.
Yeah, so what we're looking for really are like those little snippets, right? So name, rank, serial number, you
Yeah.
know, we'll probably go through, give us a couple takes of that, and then, just so we make sure we nail it. And then any hiccups or anything else like on those kinds of things. And then yeah,
Okay.
okay. Backing out.
All right. Well, I'm Chris Bell with Midwest Dental Arts, and I've been working with the Dawson Academy for quite a few years. I think 2005 is when I came through as a student, went through the curriculum, and at that point, obviously learned what SmileWizard was and what it does. And obviously, it's really useful in the lab as well because of all the documentation and data that it collects for each patient. So I'm a master ceramist, certified dental technician for, gosh, almost 30 years now. And so as I'm dealing with my doctors from the laboratory side, a lot of times they have me jump on their SmileWizard to get certain data and stuff that I need for it. And many of the doctors that I speak with, some of them, even faculty at the academy, say they basically couldn't practice without it, just because it walks them through step by step each process and doesn't let them move on until they've completed that step. So for that, it's a great checklist, as we have so many checklists at the Dawson Academy, and that just keeps you from getting sideways in a case. And so it's been very helpful for me as well, as I'm trying to take these cases from the point that the doctor gives it to me, and I have to fabricate something that's going to work in the mouth long term and to be highly aesthetic. So that's been the biggest thing that I've seen from SmileWizard, is it's a tool that keeps every dentist on track and from getting sideways in a case. Um, yeah.
It was good.
Nice. All right, one more time. Who are you?
Christopher Bell at Midwest Dental Arts, and we're based out of Florida, Iowa, and Connecticut. And so I've been working with them for quite some time now, and I'm the technical director there as well as a master ceramist. So we deal with a lot of cases with the Dawson Academy doctors, and yeah, and they obviously many of them, especially the faculty, use the Dawson SmileWizard, and uh, yeah, it's very helpful tool. I mean, it's for most dentists starting out, it's almost like I don't even know how they would do it without that, and a lot of them try to do that just off of checklists that we give them. But it's a definitely an intricate part of keeping things on track and excelling quality.
Chris, tell me about how SmileWizard gets used in a lab.
So SmileWizard is used in the lab to where most of the time I will log on to the doctor's SmileWizard and gain the data that I need to make the case successful. So if there's If there's photos, that's the nice thing about SmileWizard. It puts all the photos in the correct order that we have them take them. And so as I'm going through my diagnostic process and making sure that they have given me everything that I need and all the correct photos, I jump on their SmileWizard and I'm able to get all of that data as well as, if I'm making a type of splint for them, I need to know overjet protrusion. I need to know all those measurements, and all that's documented in the SmileWizard, as well as, some of the history of the patient and those sort of things, and the treatment plan that they're actually looking towards. Even when we start a case, a lot of times there's going to be a couple years maybe of treatment before the case is actually completed. So I need to know that ahead of time as I'm working on the case in the laboratory to be able to know where the end result's going to be, so that way I can do my best job to make the case successful.
Explain the difference between, like, if you have a dentist that's using SmileWizard versus not, what are some of the differences?
Well, I think the biggest difference is because everything is organized in the SmileWizard, I believe it makes it faster. You're able to go through each step. I can go through it and see every piece that I need diagnostically, all the pictures, the photos. Um, a lot of times they'll have um, other notes with it, and so I'm able to gather that with it.
Do you remember when you first? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add a follow-up on the difference. What do you see? What's a thing that a dentist who doesn't have SmileWizard usually does?
Basically, if they don't have SmileWizard, they have to have some type of either written form of, some type of checklist written down, or a lot of times they'll have something designed on Excel or something like that. And so the thing that doesn't offer them is it doesn't propagate the photos properly in the program. And actually Excel, I don't even know how they can upload it to that, but it would be separate to where the SmileWizard has everything together. So it's just more user friendly. And from the doctors that I've spoken with, they've all said that it makes their treatment planning faster. It makes their whole diagnostic process faster, just because it lines it up a little bit quicker in an easier way.
Do you
Cool, I'm good.
remember? Do you remember the first time it was introduced to you, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, the first time that I heard about it was would have been like 2006, and at that point I didn't know a lot about it, but I knew that a lot of the faculty used it and encouraged other dentists that came through to use it, as it was a great tool and helped the process of keeping. The main thing is for dentists, I believe, is they can get going in every direction, and if you don't have something listed out and keeps you on track of treatment planning, then you can get a case just messed up so quickly to where it just really keeps you on track.
Can you think of a time or a case that you have seen where that you can talk about that where SmileWizard really kind of helped out? Maybe an example, even with a doctor that you use it with.
Yeah, there was a case with a doctor in Phoenix, Arizona, and we were walking through a case, and I was able to jump on that SmileWizard, and there was an issue with basically bone density. And so where we had originally thought about maybe placing implants, the SmileWizard, the notes and everything were in that. So I knew that when I got to that posterior area where we were wanting to do some type of implant, we had to kind of halt on that because we didn't have enough bone density, and it didn't look like there was going to be an area to where we could actually get enough bone grafting there. So we had to switch our whole treatment planning in that process to do some partial type stuff with attachments. So that's where it was very helpful, is that I had all that information to where, as I'm going through the case and treatment planning from the laboratory side and designing the case, I have to have all that information in order to make the case the most successful.
Awesome. Got any follow-ups, Greg?
Oh my gosh, half a dozen. Okay,
Shoot.
real rapid. You talked about that one case. Can you go back and revisit what you like about the communication aspect with the doctor, with SmileWizard, without saying, "Hey, share their password with me."
Okay.
Just say they log in, or I have my account, or it's all whatever, but just please don't go to
Right.
share.
Right.
That was one thing, because I can't re-edit that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really good what you said, though. I mean, it was dead on. Like, SmileWizard enables me to, share those notes with the doc, and what's the benefit of that? What problem are we eliminating from your side and from the doc side? That's basically where that's my
Okay.
question.
Yeah. So the SmileWizard allows me to look at the same data with the doctor. And so with being able to do that, then from the laboratory side, it helps me be able to treatment plan the case with the doctor. And then I've also got we're on the same page on having the same notes. I'm able to look at the same pictures that they are looking at. And so we can go over a case as we do on Zoom a lot of times and treatment plan the case out that way. And so obviously when you've got the laboratory on the same page as the dentist, then obviously the case is going to be much more successful.
You tell me what you hear dentists say about Wizard. Just a couple
So
of things that you.
most of the dentists that I talk to about it, I get nothing but good feedback, because they've said that their biggest problem is they can't stay on track. And so like I was saying before, it keeps them, it doesn't allow you to go to the next step until you've completed the step before. And so you can't get out of order. And by doing that, you're treatment planning it the correct way, to where you don't get to the end of a case and then realize you've made a mistake, because it's allowed you to not make that mistake.
How important are the photos inside of Wizard for what you do on the
The
lab side?
photos are the photos are extremely important. I mean, because the way that the SmileWizard propagates it is perfect for our diagnostic process. And so as I'm looking at a case, as I'm designing it, I want to make sure that I'm designing it to where if they did have a cant, that we're correcting that, and that we're not putting in a cant, because those photos that are in the SmileWizard, I can look at and see what they had preoperatively and make sure that we're correcting that. So that's a huge tool that the SmileWizard offers.
You think of any other tools like that in SmileWizard that you're like, wow, thank goodness I have that, because it doesn't show up in an Excel spreadsheet.
Let's see. I don't
Like golden
know.
proportion wise, or I mean, like
Oh yeah,
any of the,
that is
right?
something to go. Yeah, the golden proportion is a great tool. Yeah, and the way that you can move the slider and it actually calculates it all for you. any other program you would have, I wouldn't think would be able to do that. So that's definitely an advantage of the SmileWizard, to be able to get your proportions correctly, all the way through the back of your posterior smile.
Excellent. Just walk me again, step by step, through how you communicate with the dentist through SmileWizard.
Okay, well, a lot of times we'll jump on Zoom and we will go through the case, and they will look at the pictures. I will look at the pictures. Sometimes I'll put a design up on the screen. I'll overlay that with some of the pictures that I've pulled from SmileWizard to be able to see how the design will fit in the smile line. Yeah.
Do you use SmileWizard for any of your own cases?
No,
Did you see?
I actually don't have SmileWizard. I probably shouldn't say that, but
No, no, that's fine, dude. I mean, you're still a subject matter expert, right?
right.
But my question is, from a lab side, would you see a benefit of, from a lab perspective, of having it, if not having it in-house, to do what you just said, like to be able to put pictures, at least plug your own stuff in, even if it's rudimentary, but to even like maybe promote it to other dentists that, you have large volumes with, that might be open to it. You know what I'm saying?
Um, I mean, definitely. I mean, I definitely would do promote it. I mean, whenever, you know, it's pretty quick to find out that if they're an organized dentist or not, and if they're not, I mean, I always recommend it because we talk about it through all the courses. And so whenever I start hearing them mentioning that, they're not able to be organized in their case treatment planning, the first thing I say is that you need to get the SmileWizard, because it's going to keep you on track. It's going to keep you step-by-step process to where you'll treatment plan it correctly, and then your case will be successful at the end.
What do you say to, well, let me back up. What other exposures do you have other than Dawson? Do you like run into Pankey, Spear? I mean, they're Coyce,
Yeah,
like any?
I was a part of Spear Institute for about 7 years, and I was also the accredited lab at the Nash um, Academy in Charlotte, and a little bit with LVI early on in my career. So I've been a part of most of the continuing education programs.
Dog, I didn't know you had LVI in your blood. Oh, that's awesome. Wow, you have really gone around the world. That's that's an amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Oh, okay. So, wow. All right. So this is why asking the question. So you're familiar with all these philosophies,
I
right?
am. I am.
So Smile Wizard obviously was born out of Dawson, but how would it apply to anybody, like let's say in a Pankey or a Coyce or a Spear, if you ran into one of them on the street?
It would have The SmileWizard would work no matter what continuing education you go through, because even though the philosophy might be just slightly different when you're talking about centric relation, or depending on whether you're starting with the upper arch, the lower arch, it's still going to work, because it's still going to propagate all the photos. It's still going to give you your golden proportion. You're going to list out all of your data of the history of the patient, and so it will include all of those things in there, no matter what type of education background you come from and what philosophy that you use. It's still going to work and be very successful in a dental practice.
Travis, I think you have what you need.
Yeah, that was awesome, that last part. Do you want to? I can give you a login to it. I could even give you all of the cases, for example, that they're showing.
Mhm.
So if that would help,
I mean, the only thing
that
that
would be great.
I think the only thing that would help me for is if somebody's interested, because interested in the SmileWizard, then I could show it kind of like how I did with Doug, in VitaFX. You know, I've got it on my computer, and if somebody's interested, I can pull it up real quick and show them how it works. But other than that, I mean, like you were saying, using it in the lab, I don't think I ever would, because I'm not really treatment planning, you know, my own cases. They're all doctors' cases that are coming in. So
Right.
from the lab side of it, I don't think that I would really use it. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if it's something that that you would want me to kind of show more, like when if I'm at like an area where I could see it be beneficial, like when I was just at the Florida Dental Convention, which is away from the academy. But it's in a, you know, I had hundreds of dentists come by my booth there. And so yeah, maybe it'd be something that I could have on a laptop just on the table.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe it'd be something that, you know, dentists would ask about. Um I I mean, the academy is probably your best bet, though. I mean, just because,
Definitely.
yeah, I don't see how you should be getting almost every single one of those doctors signing up for SmileWizard. As much as I talk about it and all the faculty talk about it, I mean,
Yeah. I totally agree. And it's normally, I mean, there's a lot of people that want to use it, but if they're just starting out, they're kind of hesitant. They, you know, the cost to, I mean, I always get people that are like, you know, I'm just starting out. I really don't have a lot of my own patients, and therefore it doesn't really. But I did have a lady very recently that she wasn't talking to me. She was actually talking to Joel, who I work with on the product side.
mhm.
And it was interesting because she says, well, you know, I don't really have a lot of patients right now, but you know, I'm starting to do complete exams, and, you know, I can't afford the, let's see, how much is it a year? And then she's like, she kind of stops and she's like, oh, wait a minute. I would only have to close one case and I would pay for it for the entire year.
For the
Anything
entire
after that
year.
would
Yeah.
be gravy. And she's like, she's like, no, I'm gonna keep it. So she kind of talked herself into it, which was cool. And we have
Yeah.
that recorded too, Greg. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome,
So
Chris. There's a couple things that I would love for you to be able to log in, and because Travis has a need for somebody to kind of do some help walkthroughs and explain some of this stuff, because he's got like his buddy Joel, who's
Yep.
on the product dev side. Again, I don't have enough hours in the day to walk through it, but I'm like, you need help explaining the golden proportion screen and how that works. And, you know, like, even if it's like a quick little, you know, we log into Zoom and you just walk through it and
Yeah.
explain what all those things mean. Because, you know, all the dentistry he has, it's so beyond them to
It
explain
is.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and you would be perfect for that. So
Yep.
I would
yeah,
say, you know, if you could spare Travis some time in the future to kind of just walk through a couple of those screens and make
Sure.
some sense of it, that would be really helpful.
Yeah. Yep.
awesome.
Awesome. And then lastly, I would say, can you send Travis like a really good picture of you, something, you know,
Okay.
for broadcast purposes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously, like any kind of bio information that you have, or we can just, you know, we can Google you. That would be interesting. We should probably do that.
We should have
Yeah.
done that before we did this,
Yeah,
huh?
you probably
Oh
should have
man,
done that before you did this. Yeah.
yes, you can stop recording now, but I'll tell you what, for this job that I'm working on, it's all government contract, right? Well, I've been through every meeting. It's like it goes up the chain. First, I just needed a cat card.